Ira Helfand joins us now. He is a co-chair of the Nuclear Weapons Abolition Committee. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me on.
I'm afraid to ask, but what nuclear options does Russia have?
Well, Russia has a lot of nuclear options, and so does NATO. And I don't think that either side would deliberately initiate the use of nuclear weapons. But the concern is that when you have a war, things get out of control sometimes. And there are many different ways in which this conflict could spiral into a broader war between NATO and Russia. And both sides have military doctrine that allows them to use nuclear weapons in the event that they are losing a conventional battle. And so there's a real potential here for this to take place.
Give me an idea of what would be in those doctrines.
Well, both sides simply state that nuclear weapons, neither has a no first use policy. They both allowed their militaries to use nuclear weapons first. And the presumptive use in this case would be if either side were facing a significant defeat in a conventional war on the battlefield, they might use nuclear weapons to try to reverse the tide of the battle. The problem is that the assumption there is that they're going to use one or two small nuclear weapons on the battlefield. But the problem is once a nuclear weapon gets used, we don't know what happens. When war games have been held in the past, when even a single battlefield nuclear weapon is used, the conflict rapidly escalates to large-scale nuclear war involving attacks on cities and population centers.
What is considered a smaller nuclear weapon?
Well, it's a great question because small, when we're talking about nuclear weapons, is not small when we think about other things. Battlefield nuclear weapons can be up to 15 kilotons, the size of the bomb that destroyed Hiroshima. Some are even larger than that. They're smaller than the large weapons that were designed to attack major military targets, to attack cities, but they're still enormously destructive.
Wow. Why take Chernobyl? I just want to get you on this one as well, because it's supposed to be sending a message. You think it's more than that?
The takeover at Chernobyl?
Yes.
I just think that's bizarre. I don't know what they could possibly be talking about, that they're sending a message that they're serious. If they're talking about releasing radioactivity from Chernobyl, much of that is going to blow back into Belarus and Russia. So, this is the nuclear reactor there, and the other nuclear reactors in Ukraine, there are 15 altogether, are an enormous threat to the health and well-being, not only of the people of Ukraine, but of a much broader area involving Russia and much of Europe. When the Chernobyl disaster took place in 1986, radiation spread over a very broad area in Europe and caused significant health effects to many people well beyond Ukraine.
Can you give me an idea from recent negotiations or conversations that the Russian leader has had about maintaining nuclear weapons or trying to at least limit them, how they have gone?
Well, things have not gone well in recent negotiations, and neither the United States nor Russia has really seemed to be seriously concerned with trying to secure a major new agreement to lessen the nuclear danger. We have to understand that nuclear war is beyond our comprehension. A single 100-kiloton bomb dropped over Moscow would kill 250,000 people. A single 100-kiloton bomb dropped over Washington would kill 170,000 people. If Moscow and Washington get into a big fight and launch major attacks on their cities, we could be seeing tens of millions of people dead in the first half hour. The economic infrastructure of both countries absolutely destroyed.